for this next pick, I don't know what I want to do. Like, honestly, I feel like trading down for a couple picks.
I know,
or something,
right?
Because there's this weird little gap and in this weird little grouping. I don't know if I should throw some biasness in here or what I should do, but this is where things get sticky for me, for sure. There's like 5 guys that I'd be willing to take here again. So I think in that case, oh God, I'm gonna draft Rasmus Dahlin.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna stick the biasness in my back pocket. I'm gonna take Dahlin, 22 years old. This guy is already the horse for his team. He logs the toughest minutes on this team, and they suck, and they have for his whole career. Yet he's showing up every night, being that minute eater, and he gets his points. We looked back the other night. We forgot he had 44 points in his rookie season, and he's continuing to do so, especially this year with 20 points in 17 games so far. I think that this is the first one where I'm really drafting off of potential, because right now I mean I like Hughes better for the career he's had so far, but I think that Dahlin might have the edge on potential if I really have to be honest. And the fact that he's a defenseman adds a lot of value here. He's a guy that you want to have on your top pairing, and I don't know. I felt like I had to pick him because I don't want to be biased.
See, like, I also feel like that's why you picked Dahlin, but I'm shocked that the guy that you mentioned was Hughes. I thought it would be another New Jersey Devil who I had on my list, actually, a spot higher than Dahlin, someone who I thought would make a lot of sense for this pick. Okay, let me ask you this question.
I was comparing Dahlin and Hughes because, I don't know, they've been in the league longer together.
Okay.
I would take Hughes over Hughes.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you that. Let me ask you this. At the end of their careers, the end of their respective careers, in 15 years from now or whatever, who do you think will leave behind a greater legacy? Rasmus Dahlin or Jack Hughes?
Jack Hughes. I fudged my pick here. Can I go back because I picked on bias?
No, you can't. Fuck. Now my team is going to look stacked because I'm going to take Jack Hughes with my number 11 pick. I think it's number 11. I've kind of lost track here, but we're going through here. Anyways,
11, I don't know.
I think it's 11. Yeah, God, I can't even do simple math here. But Dahlin, let me touch on Dahlin first, because he's a player who I really, really love, and I have since he's come into the league. I think he was underrated in his rookie year, and he continues to be underrated as a first overall pick, because I think as a forward, it's very easy to measure a first overall pick when they're a forward, right? You look at them, you look at their production, and there's a certain standard that you're held to. It's like, can you score a point per game, yes or no, as a forward, first overall pick coming into the league? If not, well, you're not going to be held in the same kind of conversation as if you are. For a defenseman, though, it's kind of more difficult to evaluate for a few reasons. Defensemen just take longer in general to kind of get up to speed to the NHL. I would say in general, that's been a trend that we've seen. And also, you can't really evaluate defensemen on points unless you're giving out the Norris Trophy. So I don't really know how else you're supposed to do it. And for that reason, I think defensemen who get picked first overall get forgotten about. But Dahlin is a guy who is so important to his team, and I think if he wasn't there, the Sabres would look totally different. He's been my fantasy horse now for a couple seasons. He plays a ton of minutes, tough competition, does some things with the puck that nobody else in the entire league can do, and he's just incredible. With all that being said, I do think Jack Hughes is the better pick, and that's who I'm going to go with. Jack Hughes, this is a player who I wanted to take before Tavares, actually, on the last pick. I was between the two of them, and I think you not trying to be biased really hard kind of fudged your pick a little bit, because you didn't want to be seen as the biased devil guy. But to be honest, I think Hughes is the pick. I do too, but honestly, I was thinking about biasness, and then one thing I had in my head that I was comparing Victor Hedman and Nikita Kucherov and who I'd rather have on my team, and I picked Victor Hedman here, so I went with Rasmus Dahlin. Hughes is going to score over 100 points multiple times in his career. I was trying to find the value here.
in the defenseman, in the high potential. I think they both have close to the same potential. And I went with a defenseman who's going to be, close to a point per game at some point in his career and hard to play against. I just think of him as a Victor Hedman type player. And I think of Hughes as a Kucherov, or I'd hope that he turns out to be a Kane instead of a Kucherov.
Yeah. Something I didn't mention about Kane that I wanted to bring up was what a win for undersized players in the league. Proving that you can be one of the best in the league and not have to play a physical style of game like that. He kind of changed the game, really. I don't mean to overstate this, but being a smaller guy and coming into the league as a number one pick, whereas traditionally you would fall in the draft if you were undersized. So that's just something great to say about Kane. But yeah, going back to Jack Hughes here, I think it's a no-brainer for this pick. He's, one of the players who I think will score a boat ton of goals and get a ton of assists as well. He's just a player who is always going to be on the board. He's going to be a leader in the dressing room. He's not afraid to speak his mind, and I love that. Obviously, there's a lot of runway ahead of him here in his career. He's only just begun. But I think at the end of the day, when all of these players are retired, when it's all said and done, I think he'll be remembered as one of the best here.